We're back live. UFC co-main for Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. Right now, this is the co-main. It is Anthony Smith's final fight. He's taking on Zhang Minyang. Looks like already Minyang has a cut over the left eye. They're standing pretty much toe-to-toe. Minyang just throwing a couple of hard right elbows. Smith going for a body shot. Calf kick from Minyang. Looks like Anthony Smith's also bleeding over his left eyebrow. He throws. The men are exchanging hard right elbows. Looks like Min Young has got the better of Smith at the moment. Smith is going for that high double guard, shoots in for a double. He's on his knees, didn't get the double. Min Young now has top position. Anthony Smith is on his knees, arms outstretched as if he was still going for the double. Min Yang starts to stand up, back up, and then he goes back down. Anthony's now on all fours. Oh, Min Young almost went for a soccer kick. That's something you can do in Asia. He didn't follow through with it. Anthony's now just not in a good position. He's on his knees. He's got a single leg grip on Min Young. Min Young has top position and is doing ground and pound. Uh-oh. Okay, so now Anthony's on his back, trying to defend Min Young in his half guard, throwing heavy elbows. Oh my goodness, this is not good. You got about a minute and 13 seconds left here in this first round. Min Young with 5, 6, 7 repeated left elbows to Anthony Smith's head as and then that's it. The ref waved it off. So another first round stoppage for Zhang Minyang. Holy cow. Anthony's got a cut right on the middle of his scalp. Lots of blood. Anthony Smith has a cut right about here on his head, so. Kid, how are you doing? Good to see you. Velma, good to see you. Welcome. We're watching the UFC. Anthony Smith just lost by first round stoppage. I don't know who Anthony Smith is giving the finger to now. He's pointing at somebody and gave him the finger 3 times. He's pushing off Zhang Minyang. I don't know who. Now they're getting after it. Anthony's yelling at somebody outside the cage. Minyang is. I have no idea. That was kind of weird. All right. Well, in any case, Smith just got stopped by Zhang Minyang. Now the 2 men embrace, I guess. They're trying to indicate that there's actually no hard feelings. Hello, Morgan. Hello, nothing %. Hello, is it Carlin? Hello. I can't, sorry. Kaylin. And again, what is my favorite food? Velma asks. Oh gosh, that's a hard question. Probably lasagna, but that's kind of tough to do when you're gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free. All right, we are watching the UFC, waiting for the main event. The main event is between Ian Garry and Carlos Prates of the Fighting Nerds. This was the co-main event. Anthony Smith, declared this is his last fight. He's going to retire after this. Unfortunately, he lost by first round TKO versus Zhang Minyang. At least, he didn't take a beating. Minyang just won this. It was stopped because he was administering hard ground and pound. From top position, Anthony was down on all fours, really in no position to defend himself or make any offensive move. Velma says, my favorite food is chicken. I really like chicken too. I ate that at lunch and dinner today. So my question is, who the heck was Anthony Smith giving the finger to repeatedly on camera like that? Charles says, given your diet, name a good comfort food. Oh, that's a tough one, Charles. Maybe like a hot chocolate with just using a little bit of maple syrup. Does that count as food? It's a beverage. I guess other than that, I like blueberries. Um, to be honest, if I get cravings, it would be for dark chocolate. All right, right now we're on commercial break, guys. Did you guys watch the Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. fight? That was a really good fight. It surpassed my expectations, mainly because both men went at it, all 12 rounds. They left it in the ring, and we can't deny them that. How many of you guys watched Conor Benn, Chris Eubank? Let me know. Let me know what you thought of that fight. Right, who do you guys have in... Are you guys watching the UFC right now? All right, let's see. Okay, official announcement. All right, so Zhang Mingyang defeats Anthony Smith, first round TKO. Just listening to the post-fight interview here. Paul Felder's interviewing him. Zhang Mingyang he answered the question by saying, boo me again, let me hear that. Okay. All right, well, give Zhang Mingyang credit because he tried to speak English to deliver a message to Dana White. I don't know exactly what he was saying, but he was implying that he wanted Dana to talk to him or something. All right, so Anthony's giving his retirement speech. Charles says they gave it all in the ring. They gave it all in the end, rather. Sorry, I even question their man's professionalism. But if Ben had another bit of weight, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think the weight disparity was a problem for him. And again, I did make a video about that. I was a little bit shocked that he didn't come in at 160. Like, the fact that he stepped on the scale at what was it, 155 and a half, with and was wearing that necklace. I mean, he was really still only a junior middleweight. He never bothered to, or he and his camp decided not to put on weight to move up to middle. So that I found a little bit surprising. Charles also says best match I've watched since Beterbiev Bival rematch. Are you saying rematch for Eubank Ben? I don't really want to see a rematch between Eubank and Ben unless Ben's actually going to come up to 160. Alright, so now they're showing a message from Jelly Roll to Anthony Smith. So now they're doing all these pre-recorded tributes, so it's kind of weird to me that you want to retire and you announce it before you even step in the cage. It's kind of a setup too. I don't know. But I mean, it's nice that the UFC production team made this package for him, but it's just obviously in order to make this package, they had to know for sure Anthony Smith is going to retire. So, anyways. All right, so Charles, do you want to see a rematch of Conor Ben, Chris Eubank Jr.? Do any of you guys want to see a rematch? All right. What diet do I recommend for fighters? It depends. I mean, you can't really do keto as a fighter because you do need some carbs for fuel. So I would just say, a very clean diet. You also need the carbs for recovery because you're probably lifting, especially if you're doing something like MMA. You're going to be putting your body through a lot of punishment. All right, this is still a package saying, like tributes to Anthony Smith. So, I'm not, while this is touching and everything, I'm not so sure how I feel about a fighter knowing before he even steps in the cage that he's going to retire and this is his last fight. Yes, and we're watching this retirement package the UFC put together for him where all these people are paying tribute to him. Ankit saying that Dustin Poirier has also announced his retirement fight. I don't know, guys. I wish they would just do it on a smaller platform. And then do the tribute some other time. But not like... just do a tribute is a tribute, a fight is a fight. You can't have your head in two different places, I think. Charles says a good comfort for me is sprouted then parched chickpeas drizzled with olive oil just before eating. Okay, that's an interesting one. All right, EQ, we just finished watching the co-main event of UFC. And I just lost my stream again, so I'm going to have to try to reconnect. Sorry, guys, give me a moment. Coming up next will be the main event, which is Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates, which is really the fight I'm interested in. We just saw Anthony Smith get stopped by Zhang Mingyang in his final fight of his career. He waves the crowd, puts down his gloves. Are you guys watching UFC? How many of you guys watch Eubank Ben? We did a live stream for that too. So do make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we're going to do a live. Or when we go live, I should say. All right, now we're just waiting for the main event. Okay, we are looking at footage back in Ian Garry's change room. He's doing mitts with his trainer with the two pigtails. Always wondered about that look, but to each his own. Now we're looking at Carlos Prates doing mitts with his coach. Prates fighting out a southpaw stance. Both men trying to stay loose right before their main event. And we cut to commercial break. So tell me, did you see the Chris Eubank Conor Benn fight? Ankit, did you watch that fight? We know Charles enjoyed it. EQ, did you enjoy it? What fights are you guys looking forward to next? All right, EQ says he has not seen it. Gonna go back and see it. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be posted on Turkey Alashik's channel, YouTube channel, and it'll be the full fight, which is, you know, that's a great thing about the videos he posts. They're always the full fight. Ankit says no, I don't watch boxing. Oh, okay, so you're here for the MMA stuff. Got it. EQ says, I listened to your whole video commentary though. I believe you. Oh, okay. Cool. Ankit. It was at 2 in the morning. Oh, I see. Where are you at, Ankit? What part of the world? Yeah, if it's at 2 in the morning, I mean, I'm not going to wake up just for that too. Oh, you're in India. Okay. I see. Right, that makes sense. I wouldn't really want to get up for a fight at 2 in the morning either. All right, so we are now cutting to some B-roll, as I say, of, I guess, food being served in Kansas City. Looked like some type of barbecue on a sandwich. Ankit, what city in India are you in? Part of the world I have not visited. I have not been to the continent of Asia, nor Australia, nor Antarctica. Okay, so we're waiting Taking a look at the empty cage at the moment. The stadium in Kansas City looks fairly full. Okay, they're cutting to some B-roll here. This looks like it's going to be background on Ian Garry. Just showing some dramatic video of him hitting the bag and speaking to the camera. No, I'm not an Ian Garry fan. I don't know about you guys, but the thing about him that turned me off was I think I read that it says something like he has a black belt in judo, but if you watch the way he moves laterally, it's a dead giveaway that he didn't make it past day one in judo, because the way he moves sideways, if you did that on day one in any judo dojo, you would have gotten corrected immediately about moving sideways that way, because the way he does it is a perfect way to help somebody foot sweep you as you sidestep. EQ says, don't even know who that is, honestly. Okay, well, he's in the main event of this UFC. He was kind of, he does a Conor McGregor walk. I think he said something like, watching Conor McGregor is what inspired him to take up MMA. Ankit says he's a good guy. I like him. Yeah, I mean, I think I like Carlos Prates as a person better than Ian Garry. I don't know either one of them, obviously, but just knowing that Prates comes from a humble background, raised by a single mom, I find that impressive. He's got a nice, good straight left. And a good left hook. I guess it's sort of a hybrid hook uppercut, but he's powerful with that left hand. Ankit says, so am I picking Carlos? Well, I'm rooting for Carlos. Let's put it that way. Machado is talented standing and on the ground, but I'm just not a fan, so. EQ says, okay, I can't keep up with everything anymore. Yeah, it's true. There's lots of fights happening. Not sure they want to. Glad I have people like you to keep me informed. All right, cool. Yeah, that's why we're here. All right, now they're showing highlights of both Ian Garry and Fighting Nerd, Carlos Prates. Both of these guys getting solid knockouts with their striking. All right, so now the lights coming down on the octagon. And hopefully we bring the fighters out. All right, welcome. Whoever just joined us, Garry needs to win. He was talking so much game. Yeah, he was talking a lot, wasn't he? Well, they have Carlos Prates entering first. I know I keep going on about the UFC uniforms, but it looks like at this point, everybody has to wear exactly the same uniform. Black with these zebra stripe things. And only a few select fighters get anything other than very standard trunk colors. So that's kind of a bummer. But I guess the UFC just wants everybody to look the same. I don't see why they can't let one corner have one color outfit and another corner have a different color, but maybe that's too much trouble for Venom or whoever is making the outfits. All right, Prates taking a swig of water, putting his mouthpiece in. EQ says, I'm going for Carlos just because we got the same name. Go Silos. Okay, cool. I didn't know you were Carlos, too. All right, so apparently Paches is on an 11 fight winning streak, which is pretty impressive. All right, he's getting checked out by the official. Given the okay, he's getting into the ring. All right, Carlos Paches is in the cage. Any of you guys going for Ian Garry? Maybe Ankit's going for Ian Garry? Who do you guys have next weekend, May 2nd? Are you guys going to tune in for that? If you haven't done so yet, please do make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification so you know when we post videos and when we do a live. Oh, Ankit's saying either by decision or submission. Okay, cool. That's a pretty um, open-ended prediction. All right, so now we wait for Ian Garry. Prates is in the blue corner, not that there really is a corner in the octagon, and so I assume that means Ian Garry is in the red corner. All right, and Ian Garry is making his way to the cage. Bringing the Irish flag along with him. Giving kisses to his wife and his little boy. Makes his way to the cage. Ian Garry's taken off his outerwear. People are posting stuff on Threads apparently, meaning on Instagram. All right, Ian Garry's taken off his outerwear. Hugging up his corner, including the pigtail guy. Never really gotten that look, but that's up to him. And final swig of water, mouthpiece. Wipes his feet off on the mat. Don House applies Vaseline to his eyebrows and nose and cheeks, but not his mouth area. Don't know why they don't do that, because it's definitely possible to get cut around the mouth area. That's also possible to have your teeth, go into your lips and stuff like that. So, not to gross you out, but the point is, I don't see why they don't put Vaseline on this part of fighter's face. All right, guys, if you're here with us watching this live, please say hi and let us know you're here. All right, so now both fighters in the cage. Ian Garry bouncing him around. He's 27, Prates is 31. Ian Garry stands at 6'3", Prates stands at 6'1". They both weighed in at about the same at 170. Apparently Prates has a 3-inch reach advantage on Ian Garry, even though he gives away the height. So he's kind of one of those odder people in the sense that they might be shorter, but they have longer reach. Office Juice says, God bless everybody here. Well, welcome to our live, Office Juice. Okay, the ref is Dan Mergliata. Bruce Butler doing the announcements. Ian Garry's pacing back and forth as Bruce introduces the fighters. I can hear fireworks going off out here, so not sure what that is about. Right, Bruce Buffer's announcing Carlos Prates. And Carlos is from or lives in Sao Paulo. That's the one city I've visited in Brazil. And very interesting place. And actually, population in Sao Paulo. Right, looks like there's plenty of Prates fans in the audience. Okay, we are now introducing Ian Garry. Please remember to hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell. And if you're in a generous mood, you can submit a super chat, super thanks, or you can head over to buymeacoffee.com and buy a coffee over there. The super chat, I think you can start at, I think, $2. I'm not sure, but I mean, every penny counts. Every penny helps. So whatever you can do would be greatly appreciated. All right, the fighters touch gloves, go back to their corners, and we're about to get this started. Here we go. Carlos Prates fighting out of a southpaw stance in the blue corner, and Ian Garry fighting, out of righty stance in the red corner. Round one. Both men bouncing on their feet. Not really throwing anything out there, just making motions as if they're going to throw a jab. You might get a lot of that jab canceling action going on here since we have a righty and a lefty. That's kind of what's happening right now. They're sort of playing patty cake a little bit. Prates with the inside kick doesn't connect. Oh, Garry with a high kick does not connect.
It's 21 hours.
Prates again, inside kick, doesn't really connect. Definitely a feel out process right now. Nobody's really throwing strikes with very bad intentions. Again, Carlos with that inside kick attempt. Both men canceling out with jabs. Head kick attempt by Garry. Doesn't connect. Another head kick attempt by Gary. Prates looks like he's trying to set up something by doing that tie thing where they're constantly bouncing their lead leg, tapping their lead. Looks like they're tapping their lead foot on the mat a lot. So he's raising his knee up like he's about to do something. Another head kick attempt by Gary, but Prates just moves away from it. Oh, nice rear kick attempt by Gary. Shoots in for takedown, doesn't get it. Back to the center of the cage. Right, inside kick by Prates. Body kick by Prates, and Gary comes right back with a couple counter shots, letting Prates know he's right there. 2 minutes remaining in this first round. Oh, jab to a head kick by Gary. Doesn't quite connect. Gary shoots in again for a single, but Prates evades it. Oh, nice jab connects for Gary. Now Gary's just doing that thing, moving around sideways. Like I said, looks like a sub day one judoka when he's trying that, when he does that motion. But anyways, now we're doing the jab canceling patty cake. Gary versus Carlos Prates. Rear head kick attempt by Gary. Right hook attempt by Carlos Prates, and he gets caught with a right hand from Gary. Under a minute to go here. Another head kick attempt by Gary. Body kick attempt by Gary. Prates is able to follow Gary quite well when Gary tries to do his side-to-side movement. Under 30 seconds here. Prates tries a jab left hand, misses, counters right away. Oh, looks like Prates kind of slips. Gary's administering some hard ground and pound. And he switches back to just standing there, and that's the round. All right, I would give that first round to Gary. And we cut to commercial. Yeah, I would agree with you, Ankit. I think Gary got that round. If one of you guys is willing to be a moderator and just get rid of these robots when they pop up, that would be helpful. Just let me know in the comments. All right, so looks like Prates has a little bit of a cut right here, or right here actually, left side cheek. That's why you need to put grease on, on the bottom part of fighters' faces as well. Looks like that cut might have been from an elbow that Gary administered when Carlos was on his back and Gary was still standing. All right, they touch gloves for the second round. Let's see if Prates can connect with some meaningful strikes here. Oh, Prates comes in and Gary tags him with a jab right hand, then he tags him with another jab. So it looks to me like Gary's found his range, whereas Prochess is still trying to figure that out. Body kick by Gary misses. Gary shoots in for a single, almost gets it. Being persistent with that grip, but Prochess breaks away. Prochess trying to just walk Ian Gary down a little bit. They're still canceling out each other's jab. Ian Gary now moving laterally. Prochess with inside kick, Gary with a high head kick. Gary with a jab. Prochess is using nice side-to-side head movement, but he needs to get going. Okay, Prochess lands the jab, but then he gets caught with a jab as well. Ian Gary with a couple inside kicks. Prochess shakes his head for whatever reason. Gary rushes forward with a series of 3 punches. Gary with a right hand to the body, then a right hand to the head that just barely misses. Prochess with the inside kick. There's 3 minutes remaining. I would say thus far Gary's winning this round as well. Oh, nice head kick by Ian Gary. Prochess just missed with a jab left hand. Gary still making good use of his lateral movement. A couple of rear kicks from Gary. A good jab by Gary connects. Prochess tries with a right uppercut left hand, doesn't quite connect. Ian Gary clinches up. Prochess has Gary against the cage. But it looks like Gary has, an overhook. Prochess has the underhook. Oh, the men break apart. Back to center ring. Gary rushes forward with a left uppercut right hand. Gary with an inside kick. Gary with a body kick. Gets deflected by Prochess. Right, under 2 minutes to go. I think Prochess needs to pick things up a bit here. He's given away 2 rounds now. Gary's starting to connect well with his jab. Prochess is doing a good job of staying on top of Gary, but he does need to use his jab to get in there, or at least feint. Gary making good use of lateral movement, shoots in for a single, doesn't get it. Nice defense there by Prochess, but defense isn't going to win you the fight. Back to the center of the cage. Men just not really throwing much, just looking at each other, canceling out the jab hand. Prochess is following Gary around as Gary attempts to move laterally. Now they clinch up. Prochess has the underhook. Gary has a whizzer. They break apart. Back to the center of the cage. And we have just under 40 seconds to go in the second round. Head kick. Oh, nice jab connects for Ian Gary. Nice jab body punch for Ian Gary. Now Ian Gary switches back up to the head. Jab right hand. Body kick by Ian Gary. Oh, spinning back head kick attempt by Gary misses, and a dragon tail by Gary just barely connects. That was interesting. Yes, on kid, I would agree with you. That was Ian Gary's round as well. So I'm not sure what Prochess is going to do to try to snap himself out of this, but he's got to get going. Right now he looks like he has a cut on the bridge of his nose as well. Now neither one of those should obscure his vision, so that's the good news, so to speak, but Ankit says knockout loading in third round. Well, Prates has to make something happen. He also needs to take his head off the center line and not just move it straight back, so. All right, the men touch gloves. Here we go for the third round. Scheduled for 5. Both men start out with the jab canceling since it's righty versus lefty. Prates' right hand is canceling out Ian Garry's left hand. That's all Ian Garry thus far. Oh wow! Now Ian Garry looks like he just mocked Prates with the Muay Thai lead foot bouncing thing. Oh, Ian Garry with a nice jab, right hook. Oh, really nice feinting motion by Ian Garry. And he's just very fluid moving in and out. Oh, nice head kick by Ian Garry. Oh, Prates catches Garry with a nice jab. He really needs to get going with this. That is Prates. Okay, inside kick by Ian Garry. Landed successfully. Head kick is deflected by Prates. Ian Garry shoots in for a single. Prates defends and manages to get up to his feet. Back to the center ring. EQ, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat. You're awesome. Ian Garry misses with the jab right hand. Misses with the jab. That was okay. Prates misses with the head kick again. We got 3 minutes left to go here in the third round. Oh, nice combination by Ian Garry. He lands a right uppercut as he's coming forward. Prates really has to get going here. 4 punches from Ian Garry, including uppercut, lands again. Again, Ian Garry's finding a home for that uppercut. Prates just lands a hard jab. If another hard jab from Prates. Prates needs to follow up with that jab. Ian Garry shoots in for a double, gets it. Now he's in Prates' full guard. Prates is just holding Ian Garry's head, keeping full guard. Now Prates has almost full close guard. His head is against the cage. Garry's trying to posture up, get past the legs, which he does. Prates is now sitting up in somewhat of an awkward position here. Garry looks like he's going to try to administer some ground and pound. Prates manages to get to his feet. Very good move. But Garry has a body lock on him. Goes back down. I think he looks like he's trying to, what's he trying to do? Pick him up and drop him? I don't know. Thank you so much, EQ. Appreciate your generosity. There we go. All right, now Prates has an underhook. Garry has a overhook. Prates has Garry against the cage. But thus far, it's been Garry's round all the way. Garry with the jab. Now we're back to exchanging strikes. Oh, Gary just narrowly missing with his right hand. If he can figure out that distance. Oh, my my feed just went out. How weird. Okay, and that's the third round. I would say Gary's up 3-0. Well, Prates needs to come up. Yeah, exactly, Ankit. Prates needs to come up with something big if he wants to at least put on a good performance these last couple rounds because he's been looking somewhat lackluster. So, in a sense, he's making Ian Gary look good, by just having this diminished output and not using more feints. He needs to follow up with after he lands his jab, feint to the jab, and then follow up. But really precise punching by Ian Gary. Can't take anything away from Gary's punching, and then he did get that double. All right, here we go. Fourth round out of 5. It's so far, I believe, Ian Gary swept all 3 rounds, so Prates needs to come on strong in these last 2 rounds. I don't know if he has it in him. He looks a little bit. I'm not sure what it is. Dejected. Oh, nice. Again, nice left uppercut to right hand by Ian Gary to kick. Nice jab by Ian Gary. At this point, Ian Gary's just showing better distant judgment and distance management. Prates just hasn't been able to uh, figure out the right distance for himself. Ian Gary shoots in for a double, doesn't get it. Prates is marching Gary down, but he needs to also throw punches while he's doing that. Then Gary backs him up immediately with a 1-2. Oh, nice 2 to the leg kick. Gary shoots in with a double, switches to the single, walks Prates back to the cage. And Ian Gary gets a single right by the cage. Prates is on one knee, 1 foot, got 1 hand on the mat. Ian Gary's right behind him. I think he's got the body lock. Looks like he's trying to just go heavy on top of Prates. Yeah, looks like he's trying to just stay heavy. He can do that. He can definitely wear Prates down. Went for a throw, but didn't quite get it. So now they're back to the same position. Prates on all fours, 1 knee, 1 foot, and Ian Gary's behind him with the body lock. Prates works his way off the cage, manages to get Ian Gary off of him. Ian Gary returns to the center of the cage. Prates lands a jab, but Ian comes back with his own jab, body lock, body shot, body head kick. Jab, cancel. Inside kick from Ian Garry. Prates is just not being active enough here. Not sure what that's about. Jab attempt by Prates. Inside kick from Ian Garry. Ian Garry tries a 1-2-3, misses. Prates, to his credit, lands a good jab on Ian Garry, but he needs to follow up once his jab lands. Again, Prates just walking Ian Garry down. Oh, but he gets caught with a hard right hand as he attempts to close distance. Garry with a jab. Prates misses a head kick. Garry shoots in for a double, doesn't get it, abandons the attempt. Garry using his lateral movement again. Just under a minute to go in this fourth round of 5. Prates momentarily gets the tie clinch, tries a knee, doesn't land it. Looks like there's a cut that might have opened up under Ian Garry. Oh, good jab left hand from Prates lands. Finally put a couple together. Prates misses with a head kick. Garry shoots in for a double, gets it, but Prates turns away, walks away, escapes. Men are back at the center of the cage with about 15 seconds to go. Well, Prates came alive for in the last 30 seconds of the fourth round, but now we have Ian Garry just moving around to be evasive. Looks like there's a cut that's opened up. Is it on the bridge of his nose? Yeah, there's a cut Ian Garry's nose. Also maybe on his cheek. Yes, Ankit, I would tend to agree with you. That was Ian Garry's round as well. So now Prates needs a submission or a KO. He just hasn't been looking active enough. I don't know what has gone wrong for him. I would love to hear what his coaches have to say afterwards, just out of curiosity. I was also wondering, did any of you guys hear, I don't know why Chris Eubanks had said he couldn't move, that's why he stood toe-to-toe. I thought that was actually part of the game plan to stand there. Like, that's what Jonathan Banks was saying in the lead-up, in the training footage. He's saying you don't have to chase them, they're coming to you, so you can hold your ground and just counter. So, in any case, here we go with the 5th and final round of Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. Thus far, it's been Ian Garry, I think, swept all 4 rounds. So at this point, Prates needs a KO or a submission to get a win. But for his own sake, Prates should try to perform well in this closing round, just so his promoter can take him seriously going forward. Right now, he's simply following Ian Garry around as Ian Garry moves laterally, but he has to be the one to make this fight in this last round. Okay, so now he is starting to close distance, throw some head kicks, but as he comes in, Garry tries to shoot for a double, doesn't get it. Ian Garry with a jab overhand right, doesn't really land. Oh, slapping jab by Garry. Prates still trying to hunt him down, march forward. Needs to use some more feints and cut off the angles. Ian Garry shoots in for a single. Prates gets back to the cage. The men fall into a clinch. Ian Garry with the under. Prates looks like he has an overhook. They're battling. The other hand, Prates circles out, back to center cage. Okay, he's got 3.5 minutes to try to knock Ian Garry out here. Inside kick from Ian Garry. Prates with a head kick. Gary shoots in for a double, doesn't get it. Back to center cage. Prates with the jab. Again, he's just throwing that single jab, but he doesn't throw anything behind it. Now he tries to put two together, but he gets going in. Another head kick attempt by Prates. Under 3 minutes to go. So now Gary knows he's ahead, so he can just kind of tag and then move away, which is what he's doing, it looks like. Nice body kick by Gary. Oh, nice left uppercut by Gary. Oh, goodness. Prates comes in hard with a 2-3 and misses, and Gary counters him pretty hard. Gary shoots in for a double. Doesn't get it. Has Prates up against the cage. At this point, it looks like it's going to be a clean sweep for Gary. Gary has an underhook. Prates has a whizzer of sorts. Gary looks like he's still fighting for that single. Doesn't get it. The men break apart. Prates pushes his way off with the jab, but then just covers up. Gary with some low kicks, the inside. Minute and a half to go here. Does not look good for Carlos Prates. He's just walking Gary down, making good use of his movement. Shoots in for a double, gets a takedown, but Prates does a little scramble, reverses it. Now he's in. Carlos has top position. He's in half guard. He's got to make the most of this moment. Try to make something happen. He is trying to administer some hard ground and pound. Gary turns on his front, crawls away. This is Prates' moment. Hard ground and pound. Gary's trying to defend. Grabs one leg. Carlos needs to make the most of this moment. Again, Gary shoots in. That's kind of odd. Grabs one leg. He's down on all fours. Prates is trying to reverse him. Gets top position. Gary's down on his back. Prates trying to administer ground and pound. He's behind him. This is it. He's got 20 seconds to end this fight. But he lets him up. So now they're back to the feet. I don't know about that, Carlos. 10 seconds remaining, and Gary's just going to dance around. I think he knows he's got this fight won. And that's it. All right, good final push by Carlos Prates. I have no idea why Gary gets down on his knees like that. Kind of weird. They're walking around the cage. Gary has his hand raised. All right, and cut to commercial. Ankit says the end may be anxious for Gary. That was maybe too close for comfort, right? I'm not sure why he shot in for the second double. You really need to do that. All right, so that was Conor Ben Krishibank. That was kind of a letdown just because it was so one-sided. I don't see how this goes any other way than all 5 rounds to Gary. Who do you guys have for May 2nd? Who's going to win? You guys got Garcia or Rolly? Ryan Garcia or Rolly Romero? Do you think Devin Haney will win? Do you think Teofimo Lopez will win? And then we have Canelo Skull. Ankit says Garcia for sure. Yeah, I tend to agree. Broly's a pretty flawed fighter. EQ says Canelo. Oh, okay, Canelo. Yes. All right, we're making it official now. Both both fighters center cage, and no surprise, Ian Garry gets his hand raised in victory. All right, so I can't hear the sound, so I can't hear Paul Felder's post-fight interview with him, but in any case. All right, guys, so it's been a long day. This is the second live of the day. Um, the first live was really awesome, but it was also sort of a little bit, took a lot of energy. It was very exciting. I'm glad I did it. Any final thoughts about either the boxing fights today or this UFC card? Give you guys a couple minutes to post your final comments, and then I think we're going to call it a night. I was kind of sorry to see Liam Smith lose. I mean, I like him as a fighter. I actually met him. And in fact, I think um, the McKenna brothers also stopped by a gym in Los Angeles when they were just starting their career. So that type of build, that long, lanky build, that can be tricky, especially if that type of fighter is okay fighting on the inside. That makes it very tricky for the shorter fighter. But McKenna did sweep that fight as well. Um, Liam put up a terrific fight, but he most definitely lost that fight. Did any of you guys catch that on the undercard of Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank? EQ says, did you hear Paulie talk about the Chris Conor Benn fight? Um, he was all praises. Yeah, he said he wants to see a rematch. I'm gonna make a video about that tomorrow. I'm too tired to make another video tonight. But yeah, I don't know that he was all praises for that fight beforehand, but he said he wants to see the rematch. I feel differently, but like I said, I'll make a full video about that one. All right, so congrats to Ian Garry. I wasn't rooting for him, but he won. Certainly just made the fight, and I, for whatever reason, just never got into the fight. Thank you so much, Carlos. Good night to you too. You sleep well. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, Adkit. Um, thank you so much for the super thanks, Carlos. I really appreciate it. Ankit's asking me what's my favorite movie. I would say this French movie called Le Grand Bleu. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's kind of a cult classic in France, but check it out if you get a chance. It's kind of fun. All right, it's by one of my favorite directors, Luc Besson, one of his earlier films. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it an evening. So have a great rest of your Sunday or Saturday, depending where you are on this beautiful globe. And I will see you in the next one. Please share videos with your friends. Ask them to subscribe, like, uh, and again, if you have further thoughts, it takes a while for these lives to get posted to YouTube, but you can always post a comment on another video and I'll see it and I'll reply to you there. All right, till then, guys, thank you so much and we'll see you soon.